Hello and welcome. I'm Jarvis, and in this lesson, we're going to unlock the most fundamental and powerful command in SQL, the select statement. Think of it as the front door to all the data stored in your database. Let's get started. By the end of this 15-minute session, you'll be able to retrieve all data from a table, select just the specific columns you need, make your results more readable with aliases, and confidently understand the basic structure of a SQL query.
At its heart, a query has two essential parts. The select clause, where you tell SQL what data you want to see, which columns, and the from clause, where you tell it where to find that data, which table. The order is always select, then from. It's that simple. Let's start with the simplest query. If you want to see every single column and every single row from a table, you use the asterisk or star symbol. Select asterisk from books translates to select everything from the books table. It's a great way to quickly inspect a table's structure and contents. All right, let's jump into SQL Server Management Studio. Here, I have a simple books table with columns like book ID, title, author, and publication date. I'll type select star from dbo.books, execute it, and voila! We get the entire table back in our results pane. Notice every column is present. But what if you don't need everything? Most of the time, you only care about a few specific columns. To do this, you simply replace the star with a comma-separated list of the column names you want. This is far more efficient and is considered a best practice. Back in Management Studio, let's refine our query. This time, I'm only interested in the title and author of each book. So I'll write select title from dbo.books. I execute this and look at the result. It's much cleaner, only the two columns we asked for. This is how most production queries are written. Sometimes, column names aren't very user-friendly, like publication date. We can assign a temporary, more readable name in our query result using the as keyword. This is called an alias. It doesn't change the actual column name in the table, only in the output of our query. Let's try this out. I want to see the title, but I want the publication date column to appear as date published. My query will be select title, publication date as date published from dbo.books. See that? In the result, the column header is now date published. The as keyword is actually optional, but using it makes the code much clearer. What if your table has millions of rows? You don't want to retrieve them all just to see a sample. The top keyword is your friend here. Placed right after select, it lets you limit the result set to a specific number of rows, like select top 10 asterisk from books to get the first 10 books. Now it's time to practice. I want you to perform two tasks. First, from your books table, select just the title and author columns. Second, write another query to select all columns, but give the publication date column an alias of published. Pause the video now and give it a try. Welcome back. Let's look at the solutions. For the first task, the query is select title author from dbo.books. For the second, it's select book ID, title, author, publication date as published from dbo.books. Notice for the second task, I listed all columns explicitly, which is better than using a star when also using an alias. A very common mistake beginners make is using select star in production code, like in an application or a report. While great for exploring, it's risky. If someone adds, removes, or reorders columns in the table, your application can break. Always be explicit and list the columns you need. It's safer and more performant. So where would you use this? Imagine an e-commerce website. The page that lists products doesn't show every single detail from the database. It likely runs a query like select product name, price, image URL from products to get just the essential data needed for that display. You're using specific column selection every time you shop online.
Great job today. We've covered the absolute fundamentals. You learned how to use select with from to get data, how to use the star to see everything, how to specify columns to be efficient, and how to use aliases like as to make your results clear. You are now well on your way to mastering SQL.
Thank you for joining me. In our next lesson, we'll build on this foundation by learning how to filter our data using the where clause so you can retrieve not just the columns you want, but the exact rows you need. Be sure to practice what you've learned today. I'm Jarvis, and I'll see you in the next video.